What's up guys, JZNES back again with another video. Today we're going back to the past, Samurai Jack. No, just kidding, not Samurai Jack. We're playing Singularity here for the Xbox 360 there. Another Xbox game. You're like, boy, geez, after the last Xbox game, he's probably fucking hates this game. But guess what? Singularity, it's pretty good. It's a competent game, unlike Remember Me. I wonder how many videos it's gonna be before I can just stop like ranking on Remember Me, but you know, it's not gonna happen for a little bit. Like, so this game is actually like a game, you know, like there's not a bunch of bullshit enemies or anything. There are enemies that disappear, but you have a power immediately to just like make them reappear. You have a thing that can mitigate that. I mean, they're not even that common. Like, they're not the only enemies in the game like they were in Remember Me or whatever. So there's a way around that, you know, and whatever. So it's like they got their enemy design and their gameplay stuff right, you know. Not that these games have anything in common other than I played them and the one they're on 360, both of them, but it's much better utilization of the controller too, you know. I think shooters are definitely more like better off. I still think it's like a shitty controller because it's just like it's too big and these like buttons are like way up here, so you have to like hold your hands in a weird way. I don't like how they like click either. I think that's like kind of lame. But yeah, like the trigger buttons are fine, I guess. They kind of like stick out. I don't like that either. I don't like how there's a battery pack. I don't know. I just don't really like the 360 controller. You know, just kind of ironic because one of my favorite controllers is the Switch Pro controller there. But this is like a lot. That's like the better version of this controller. So, but anyway, yeah. So it definitely utilizes the controller a lot better there. But aside from that, I mean, so like the control is tight, it's run and gun shooting stuff, and you have these time powers, so that's pretty cool. They use that and a lot of gimmicks, do a lot of puzzles, and it's mostly just like move box here, you know, this kind of stuff, and like make this thing appear, or like make a thing appear, because you have like this power to make things from the past, like fix them again, like staircases and like switch boxes and stuff. So like sometimes it's like, for one instance, there was a puzzle where there's all these guys that'll like kill you in one hit, so it's like they're in this like water, so you just have to make this thing not reappear, actually you have to make it destroyed, so you have to like bring it to the present. It's like in pristine condition, but then when you bring it to the present, it's like destroyed. It'll send off an electric charge and just kill all those guys, and then you can redo it to where you can walk through. So that's pretty cool stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much a standard kind of shooter, and that's what the game excels at, and that's what the game does well. And I think that's good. I like it when games just focus down, you know, try to muck up their shit with random bullshit. But also, I mean, you could say that it's probably not that innovative, but you know, it doesn't really matter whether or not it was that innovative. It was a good game, you know? That's like all there is to it, is it's just a good game. It kind of reminded me of the BioShock games in the sense that, well, there's a lot of like similarities in the terms of the story and whatnot, like, you know, creatures that are mutated and stuff from like a thing. In this case, it's a energy source or whatnot, which we'll get into here to a second. But it's kind of similar, like Atom and stuff from the BioShock games. Those would be some fun games to replay sometime. I definitely would like to do those. Yeah, so there's a good replay series for some point. Anyway, so it's kind of similar to that. There's a lot of like upgrades and stuff too, so you can like upgrade your guns. You need like a weapons pack to upgrade your guns, and you find those kind of throughout the levels. And it's not like, God, I'm going to bring up Remember Me so many times. It's not like Remember Me where the power-ups are so thin that you'll never get any of them. They're spread throughout, like, generally throughout the levels. and there's these weapons lockers, and then there's these like upgrade things, which the weapon locker is a cool idea. Is that you don't have your inventory on you at any time. You can only carry 2 guns, and enemies carry certain kinds of guns, but it's usually pretty specific. But there's these weapons lockers that are at like if there is some kind of checkpoint system, there's like a checkpoint system. But if there's like some sort of like it's like one long game. There's no like levels or anything. But if there is like some way to break it up, there are these little stands that are weapon lockers where you can come and you can get any weapon that you've got so far, and then also upgrade your weapons with these weapon kits. So that's cool. That adds a different little layer there. So that's neat. You can buy ammo and stuff there, so that's nice in case you have like a certain weapon that you want to use all the time. Like as soon as I got the Gatling gun there, I just used that like for pretty much the whole game until I ran out of ammo. And I used the assault rifle for a little bit there, but other than that, it was usually just that, and then like some powerful weapon like the grenade launcher, like the shotgun sometimes, and so yeah, that was kind of my 2 specialization weapons of choice. Oh, sometimes the sniper rifle really came in handy, especially on like the one boss fight you do, where you basically just shoot this guy's weak points or whatever. The sniper rifle's fun there. The sniper rifle's also cool because it comes with a feature where if you click the stick, it'll slow down time for a limited amount of time. So that's kind of a cool feature. Just little things like that add a lot of good elements to the game. So that's cool. So yeah, there's a weapons upgrade system. You can upgrade stuff like your clip capacity and like the reload speed, and then like also the damage on each weapon. So if you specialize in one specific weapon, if you're really into that one weapon, then you can definitely just upgrade that one, or you can upgrade whichever ones you want. There's plenty of upgrade to get, so that's nice. Yeah. I don't even know. I wonder if there's like a new game plus system where you can just have your guns upgraded and you'll have the upgrades that you already did. There has to be something like that, because there's no way that you'd be able to upgrade everything. Because also, aside from that, there's upgrades to yourself, and a lot of which you actually have to find on these like blueprints or whatever that are like hidden throughout the levels. Not hidden, but they're like around the levels. Sometimes they're hidden. There are like little extra segments and like collectible and little branching paths, but it doesn't go too far off. So that's what I like, is that it's like areas that are dense and with little secrets and whatnot. That's kind of what I prefer, as opposed to like areas that are just linear. These are like pretty linear, but it didn't feel linear. You know what I'm saying? They didn't make it feel like, oh, I'm going in the same hallway again. This is a bunch of bullshit. Like the atmosphere especially like made it feel different a lot of times. So they did a good job with that. But yeah, so there's a weapon upgrade system that you can do there, and then there's upgrades to yourself. You find these blueprints around, and there's a separate like little station for that or whatever. You have this time like glove. It's like a power glove almost. No, I'm just kidding. It's like a time glove thing. Time gauntlet or whatever. It's called the TMD, time modulation device or something like that. Anyway, so like, okay, so the story, God, I have to like go all over the place for this. The story of the game is there's this energy on this island in Russia called Katorga 12 or something like that, and the energy is called E99. It's like the 99th element that they find or whatever, specifically on that island, and it can control time and do all sorts of crazy stuff like that. It's just a good fuel source. This is like the god element, basically. It just does everything, which is kind of cool, but like also like very convenient that it has like so many uses. But that's kind of the idea, is that it has so many uses, and you could also use it to make like a better atomic bomb. Is kind of the idea there, and that's what you end up doing. Um, but yeah. So like one of the, I guess spoilers a little bit, but like one of the first things you end up doing is saving this guy who ends up being like the main antagonist. He's not really in the game that much, but like it comes around to him in the end, kind of thing. And then the scientist guy you're with the whole time, he's like helping you travel back in time, and he's the one who invented your TMD device or whatever. So you get these little upgrades to the TMD device throughout the game or whatnot. But basically it runs on this energy or whatnot. So you get upgrades to that, but also because of that, you get you can, I think there's certain things you can upgrade because that has like a limited energy source until like the very end of the game where they just give you like unlimited amount of it, which is pretty cool. But you can upgrade that. You can upgrade like your health. Like there's one upgrade for like breathing longer underwater, which is like, I should have got that earlier in the game because by the time I got it, it was like, oh, I don't need that anymore. But yeah, so really what you should do almost right away is just upgrade your health fully. I didn't even realize that that was an option, I think for most of the game until like near the end, so so that would have helped a lot. And then upgrade the amount of health packs that you can pick up, because you have these things, health packs, you know. What's that? What's a health pack right now? But we used to have them back in the 90s or whatever, back in the Stone Age of video games. This thing called health packs back then. You use them when you get hurt. So I like health packs. I like the health pack system. I like health packs that you can take with you and stuff. I think that's cool. That's a good concept that needs to come back again. I mean, I know it's archaic now with the regenerating health, but that's silly in its own right too. I don't know. I kind of like health packs. They kind of add a certain charm to a shooter like this. So, yeah. So they have that, and then there's other stuff you can upgrade, like the effectiveness of your health pack, and like some of the best upgrades are those blueprints, though. One of them's like heal 25% or something like that when you're not like fighting or something to that effect. Like just whenever you like, you know, it's like a passive heal kind of thing. So that's pretty helpful. I didn't even get that until the end, so I don't even know how that really works. But I guess the one thing is there really wasn't like a final boss or anything, so that was kind of underwhelming. You just kind of get to the end and that's it. So, I mean, there was a lot of shootouts at the end, so I guess that's kind of whatever, you know, like, but I don't know. You used to think there would have been some kind of final boss. No, well, I'll just talk about that now because I kind of don't know when to talk about that. But the atmosphere of the game, like I was talking about earlier, is pretty good. I thought that the atmosphere really at the beginning of the game was a lot stronger than later on. Later on, it just becomes like a shooter. But at the beginning of the game, it's like a bit of horror influence. And there was definitely a more unique and charming, like, not charming, but like a darker like feel to that, because you're like walking through this abandoned area, and I think because of your time powers or something, or because of the E99 just on this island, you could like see these flashes, almost like ghosts of the people like living out their last events or whatever. So you like see that, and you get all these notes and whatever. You like the first place you go is this school, and you're just walking around there, and it's just really fucked up. Like you're reading all these notes about how fucked up things are and how they're feeding them different foods to like be an experiment or something, and it's just like, you know, living life on this island and what that was like, and especially as a school kid, and you just see all these little like children's dead bodies everywhere. You're just like, man, this is fucked up, you know, this is a fucked up shit. But they don't really do anything like that later on, you know. The rest of the game is just kind of a standard shooter, and it's like, oh, okay. But like that was like really impactful, that first part of the game there. I was like, wow, like holy shit, we're like going for it. This is kind of dark, you know, like yeah, you kind of lose that later on. So I don't know, that's like not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just saying like that was pretty cool at first, and then I don't know, it just kind of fell off eventually, and it just kind of became more of a shooter or whatnot. Um, and I think maybe that's true of the whole game in general. The story and the atmosphere and stuff was more towards the beginning, and then later on it just kind of becomes more of a shooter game. But luckily, I mean, the game is only like 5 hours long, so you know, balancing aside, it's like it's not gonna it didn't overstay its welcome or anything, you know. So that's nice. I like that. Um, so yeah, it's nice that there's a lot of like upgrades and that kind of thing to kind of help you along. You find uh, basically your currency in these like parts that are like E99 like things all around the world. So you just find these kind of everywhere, and there's even a perk that like lets you um, get it every time you defeat an enemy. So I would say get that first too. I didn't even get that one, but that would be really helpful. Um, yeah, so you find these things all over the place, and that's just kind of your currency and stuff. So if you have an explorative mindset like myself, then you're definitely that's gonna benefit you in the end. And then really it's just nice because then that plays into the upgrade system, and it always feels like you're getting somewhere, you know. So that's really nice. So it's a nice balance of things, especially since the game is short. It's just like everything feels good to do. Again, in a game like Remember Me, your upgrades feel so inconsequential that like you just don't even care. Oh, cool, I gained a new button. What does that do? You know, like it didn't do anything. But here, it feels like you're actually getting somewhere with your upgrades, and it actually makes a substantial impact on your gameplay, which is nice. I like that, you know. So that's good. Um, but yeah, like the movement and the gameplay is good. It's standard first-person shooter stuff. It's Raven Software. So you know, it's people who made the Wolfenstein game and like the 2009 one anyway. But so yeah, so they're good. I like them. The story like felt very similar to Wolfenstein, the New Order at first. Like you like change things in the past, like so Russia becomes more powerful or whatever. So that's kind of cool. What else? Yeah. So, I mean, there's not really much to your character, and the characters around you and stuff are fine. The scientist guy gets a lot of screen time, and you have this girl, Catherine, or whatever, who, like, comes back at the end. I don't know what that was all about, but she's there at the end. I didn't get time to read the little message. It's like a post-credits thing where Catherine's there. She was supposed to have died or something. I don't know. Anyway, and you know what's interesting is there's these little signs throughout the game that's like, one of them was like, don't trust her or something, and I'm like, okay. But like, I don't think that ever really got resolved, or maybe it did, and I just didn't really like realize like what the impact of all of that was. But it's kind of cool because they kind of bring that back at the end. Like, my theory is maybe like in an alternate timeline or something, you were leaving yourself these messages or something. Kind of like... No, they don't really do that in Life is Strange. I'm trying to think. There's some other game that did something like that where... But yeah. So like... I don't know. That's just my theory. And maybe that's not even right. I couldn't even really keep up with the story like as it went on. Like, I don't think there was much of a story later on. Maybe there was. I don't know. I tend to multitask while I play games, so I was more focused on watching a show whilst playing the game. I don't think the story is anything special, but it is pretty good for what it is. Like, I remember being interested at the beginning and when they close it out at the end there and some stuff in the middle. But so yeah, there's that. But there's a nice variety of gameplay, and there's a nice variety of weapons and whatnot, and upgrades and whatnot to keep it interesting. I think along with the time mechanics, you know, so you're not always just in the present, you're going back in time, or maybe you're trying to figure out a puzzle, you're trying to figure out your way around a thing to like to get to a certain spot or unlock a door or something like from the other side. It's cool stuff, and I like that. Your time glove thing gives you the power to also like if projectiles are coming at you, you can like freeze them in time and like shoot them back at the guys. That's pretty cool. Like the shielded enemies. It's not like in fucking Remember Me where that shit sucks. Shielded enemies, you can just take their shield and like bash it back at them. It's pretty fucking cool. I like it. It's good stuff. Anyway, so yeah, but it's just a really fun game to play. Just your standard kind of shooter shenanigans there, but a really polished and well done shooter. Not to like rag on Wolfenstein or whatever, the New Order. Like it was a good enough shooter, but I feel like maybe that one either A, overstayed its welcome, or the shooting elements. Well, I think the problem with that one was there was so much downtime in between the shooting stuff that was like, it just really didn't do anything. And maybe this game could have used some chill moments, but it did have some chill moments, which was kind of nice with the puzzle stuff and then the time stuff and then also the story, the finding your way around stuff. Like those were the chill elements in between. It was still good gameplay, but you're not like sitting at a base doing a fetch quest for a guy or whatever like you were in Wolfenstein: The New Order. So I almost appreciate this game more in that sense. But it's really, like I said earlier, there's nothing super groundbreaking here. It's just a really well done and polished shooter. And I think that that's significant enough as is. I think that's cool that they didn't try anything super crazy. I mean, the time stuff, they did have some interesting stuff there. And it all worked really well, and I think that's why it just works, you know? It's not like there wasn't any problems. There wasn't a lot of stuff that I can say, like, negative about the game. And I think that's really good, you know? I mean, obviously the game didn't irk me too much. I wasn't really that frustrated with the game. I think that's nice. So it's just a perfect kind of shooter to get in and get out and have a good time with. So I like that. I talked about the atmosphere. The music is pretty solid. It's the right levels of like ambient, like we're hearing now, or like pulse pounding when it needs to be. So that's nice. So yeah, overall, like pretty cool game. I mean, it's just a standard shooter that a little bit of above average shooter, I'll say, because it's certainly good. It stands out. It's unique in its own right, but I mean, unique might be strong. No, like it's just a really well done game, I would say. It's not as bland as like all of those fucking Call of Duty games or shit like that, you know, or just like anything like that. It certainly stands out in the sea of those kind of games as like a fun and different kind of shooter. It's not really a different kind of shooter. It's just like a different. It's got an upgrade system and elements like that. It's got that kind of going for it. But yeah, so it's a good game and I think a little bit underrated. So yeah, because I don't really hear many people talking about it anymore. I mean, my friends talk about it sometimes, but it's like, yeah, so it's pretty good. Definitely a solid game there. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, really good, decent shooter there, and it's worth playing. So been JZNES saying keep the classics to grab for more reviews, Underrated games, and I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ out.